Get your earballs ready. Welcome to the Greg and Tim Show podcast. Take time to sit back and relax and enjoy the show. Here are your hosts, Greg and Tim.
If you haven't understood yet, Tim's the one who will say stuff that's out of line a lot of the times, but that's okay, right, Tim?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I like your hat.
Oh, thank you.
That's really nice. I guess FFO, right? Far from ordinary.
Far from ordinary, yeah.
I like it.
Company.
Yeah, no, but the emblem is I really like it.
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah. Awesome. Are you ready to start up?
Let's start off. Yeah.
Let's start it up.
Yep.
Okay. You want to go? You usually want to start it.
No.
Okay, welcome back to the show. This is the Greg and Tim Show with
Welcome
my
back.
co-host.
Well,
This last week,
Yeah, we
had a show, and now
just
the people are
welcome.
back
You can just
because it's a
welcome
new
them.
show. So
Just
welcome
welcome
back. It's Tim and Greg, as usual. And today we have a very special guest once again. We have the owner and creator of Far From Ordinary, and his name is Nick Welch. Am I pronouncing it
Yep,
properly?
that's correct.
Awesome, Nick Welch. And we're going to chat with him about a lot about clothing and creating clothing and collaborating and all that kind of stuff. So welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming. So, Tim, I'm going to get you to start right up with the main question, the one that you love to ask.
So, Far From Ordinary is your clothing line.
Yeah.
Before we get into the question, we start every episode with, can you describe your clothing line, all the things that you kind of go into as far as what clothing you make and manufacture, and then how long you've been around the company Far From Ordinary when you started it?
For sure. So it's a lifestyle kind of streetwear brand. We've done anything from socks to shorts to hats, jackets, all different types of stuff. We do a lot of online, but we also design and manufacture for other artists and stuff like that as well. So
A lot of collaborations.
yeah, a lot of collaborations. Yeah, I've been doing it for 13 years now. So
Wow.
yeah.
That's
And
awesome.
you're a pretty young guy. So, how old were you when you started?
I was 22.
Okay, 22. So that's pretty young.
Yeah.
And what kind of gave you the idea? Like, how did this start?
So I was living in Ottawa at the time when I had an idea. It actually just started off as a boutique on McDermott.
Okay.
And the reason I started it was because I was in Ottawa. I was always going to Montreal, Toronto. And even before that, when I was younger, I'd go to the States to buy my clothes.
Yeah.
I just wanted to dress different.
Yeah.
Winnipeg didn't really have any place for men to shop at the time.
Yeah.
So, just wanted to bring that lifestyle to Winnipeg. So,
Like a
opened a-
streetwear.
yeah, exactly. And
Like-
at that time, it was like Obey. So, it was like, skate influenced and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But not like heavy skate stuff.
Yeah.
Just more lifestyle. So, opened that store. And then just kind of created a line for marketing purposes.
Yeah.
And then that actually started to sell better than brands that I carried.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's where I started to double down and started designing more, and then fast forward, it just turned into an FFO.
So
Sorry.
I'm fascinated by your industry because I don't know anything about that. So Greg knows a lot about brands. He knew a lot about your brand. For me, I like maybe not so fashion sense. It doesn't really come quickly for me. Whatever is cheapest.
He's older.
What? I'm quite a bit older than you, 1.5, 2, 3 years. But
4.
but completely ignorant about that kind of thing. Whereas it's good to have you on the show because maybe I'm going to learn something, or I definitely will learn something from you. But it's fascinating to talk to someone who's not in my element, let's say. So it is good to talk to you. So you have collaborated with a couple of really cool groups or people.
Yep.
Can you tell us about a couple?
The Jets, the one I'm wearing right now. That was an awesome one. Sea Bears.
The Sea Bears stuff, I gotta interrupt you because I went to the second Sea Bears game of the year.
Yeah.
And I already couldn't get one of your hoodies.
Oh,
Right?
yeah, they
Like,
went quick. They
Yeah.
went really quick. Yeah.
You do it as like a limited edition.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that it's not watered down. You don't have like 1,000 of them.
Exactly.
Well, I don't know how many you actually made, but you don't have like tens of thousands of them produced.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
still kind of staying true to dressing different than everybody else, right?
Yeah.
So
And you did 2 so far with Sea Bears?
yeah, so we did the crew neck and then
the hoodie this year.
Yeah.
The hoodie was sweet though.
Yeah.
Like
that
with
was awesome.
the claw marks on the back and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it was received really well.
And you can tell who's a season ticket holder because you'll see those hoodies
Yeah.
just like individually throughout the arena, and you're like, oh, that person's probably a season ticket holder because they got in early, right? That
They
type
do
of thing.
such a good job of the Sea Bears. Like
Yeah.
it feels like you're at an NBA game.
Yeah.
You know, like the production's really, really good.
You haven't gone yet, eh?
I have not gone. I plan to go. Yeah.
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 So Nick sits courtside. You always see on his stories
Yeah, yeah.
that he's right there in the action.
Yeah, it's awesome.
What's one thing that's happened to you while you're down there that's been like super awesome?
I mean, I like the way that they do the 9 point after 4 minutes. So every game is like a buzzer beater.
And Teddy Allen to the corner for the win! It's over! The Winnipeg Sea Bears have won it! Oh, what a shot!
So like when you're down on the court and it's like
You feel like you're in the action?
You feel like you're in it. And then it's just they get the shot off and you're just like, let's go,
Have you ever like gone onto the court by accident after?
Oh yeah, all the time. You just
Yeah.
get excited and you go, like I'm friends with a few of the guys, so I just always go say what's up. And
So our last guest, we made some references that were maybe 20, 30 years ago, and our guest had no idea what we're talking about. So if I were to say, are you the Spike Lee of the Sea Bears, would you know what I'm talking about?
you know what? I'm actually a huge fan of Spike Lee.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm a Knicks fan.
Are you?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Yeah. So I actually have Spike Lee tattooed.
There you go.
Right here. So
Wow.
yeah, I got to meet him. One of my really good friends has done some work with Spike Lee, so I got to meet him in New York, and I saw like the premiere of one of his new shows, so it was really cool.
Has he got one of your hats?
He has some of our stuff. Yeah,
Yeah?
yeah,
That's super
yeah,
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He spoke at one of our conferences one time.
Oh, awesome.
And, yeah, he's a very interesting character.
Very interesting guy.
Yeah.
Super cool guy.
I was going to call him the Drake of the Sea Bears, though.
No, but
Right? Because Drake gets into the action, he like daps up the guys, right?
the problem with Drake, he's got different connotations, right? Because the joke is he is courtside for Toronto, and he's kind of one of their faces on the sidelines. But there's kind of a joke about Drake where he kind of props up a team and they always lose.
Yeah.
And so if we call him the Drake of the Sea Bears, we're not sure
We're jinxing the Sea
exactly.
Bears? Is that what you're saying?
We're not sure exactly if we're giving him a compliment or not. Whereas Spike Lee is an iconic figure who trolls the sidelines of Knicks games. I know I'm saying something, and he resonates.
Spike
with
Lee
it.
also, like the Knicks haven't won in years.
They actually had a good season last year, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were pretty good last year. So
Yeah,
fingers
it
crossed
always-
for this one.
I always look back at the Reggie Miller.
Oh,
incident
yeah,
with
the-
Spike Lee.
Yeah.
Reggie Miller giving the choke side to Spike Lee. Spike is who again is staring in the direction of, yes, that man.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a documentary with that incident, and it's interviewing Reggie Miller, and it's hilarious the way he recounts it and everything like that.
Oh yeah.
So, do you ever get into it with the visiting team?
No.
No,
I'm just more chill. Just
you don't
like
give them the gears or anything like
No,
that.
not really. More of the refs, if anything,
Yeah,
if they make bad calls, But
you're giving them. You're
yeah, a
giving
little
them,
bit.
Yeah?
You gotta
Ref
keep them
makes good
sharp.
calls, right?
Yeah.
And every home team thinks the ref's making a bad
Yeah,
call.
that's true. That's true.
It
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So, getting off the Sea Bears for a second here, I was told by a friend of ours, a mutual friend of ours, and of Nick's as well, that you have a collaboration with Material Girl of some sort.
Yes. Madonna.
Yes.
Yeah. We've been working on quite a few things. We did her Madam X tour,
Okay.
and then we did her celebration tour that just passed. So
Okay.
How in the world does that? How do you
yeah.
connect with Madonna?
So actually the same friend that introduced me to Spike Lee, he ended up being a dancer for Madonna. So
Oh wow.
he's just like, hey, come to New York, meet Madonna. And this was probably 8-9 years ago now.
Oh.
So went into her studio, just chopped it up, told her about the brand. One thing that really resonated was she's like, where are you from? And I was like, Winnipeg, and she goes, sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
So, and then she kind of asked about the brand and said, I'm from a small town and or small city, and we're just trying to be different. That's
Far from
Far from
ordinary.
ordinary. And she says, trying to be, we are. So she kind of connected there.
Yeah.
And since then, she's, we built a relationship and been to a few of her parties, birthday parties, Grammy parties. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, we just kind of built that relationship.
How does that work? Where okay, you're going to meet Madonna, you met her at her house, you met her at a concert, you met her at the hotel. How
The
did that
first
work?
time, or
First time.
Yeah.
first time was at her studio.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so she was recording for Madam X. And then after that, I've been to her house, and when we went to Italy together, and there's a few other things. So yeah.
That's pretty cool, eh?
Yeah.
You went to Italy together with Madonna?
Yeah, she had I think it was her 59th birthday out there.
Right.
So we flew out there for
Do you
that,
ever
and
just go
there's-
to yourself, what am I doing?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you look back and you think, like, I would have never thought this. I planned on opening a boutique in Winnipeg.
Yeah.
Right. So definitely some cool experiences. But when you're living it, you're just like so focused on the next thing that you don't, it's rare that I think about those, unless you're asking me about it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to imagine asking my buddy if he wants to go for wings on a Friday night, and he says, "No, sorry, Friday doesn't work for me. I'm going to Italy to hang out with Madonna." I'm just trying to
Well, a buddy
picture
from Winnipeg.
that's
Right.
my buddy from anywhere, Nebraska. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Do you ever like do you get a chance to just sit back and go like, this is where I am right now? Like, do you ever take that moment?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, some, like, just more or less when I'm, talking about it, but
Yeah.
It's now. He's doing
Taking that
right
moment
now.
right
Taking
now.
that
Just
moment,
give
yeah.
him a moment. Let's just take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have silence.
Like Madonna's iconic. Like you really can't get any bigger than a pop star than Madonna.
Totally.
Right?
She's such a great person. Like if you meet her in person, she's so sweet, so nice. Like the second time I met her, like, remembered my name, like, was like, Mr. Far From Ordinary, how are you? Like,
That's legally her name.
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
Mr.
yeah.
Far From
Mr.
Nick
Far- yeah.
Far From Ordinary.
so she's a sweetheart.
Yeah. It's cool because like your brand is everywhere. I was just at the Vikings game on Sunday and I'm literally walking through the concourse and I saw two of your hats.
Amazing.
And like older versions, ones that just said the ORDNY.
Oh, okay.
on the
Yeah,
back of
yeah,
it.
yeah.
And I'm like, man, like these guys have had these hats for a while and
Totally.
they're still wearing them to a Viking. Like they're not even wearing Vikings gear, just black Far From Ordinary hat.
Sick.
Right? Like I thought it was really cool. I was actually going to message you right after I was going to try to take a picture of the
Yeah,
guy
that's-
and message
that's
you,
dope.
but it was such a busy place in there. But yeah, like your stuff is everywhere right now.
Yeah.
Where else do you see yourself going with this?
It's funny. It's kind of evolved into more of, like you said, the hats. Like we started off with hats and then went into full collection, and then we just kind of let the market dictate where we would go.
Yeah.
And our hats just go really fast. So
Yeah.
we're really focusing a lot more on just like every colorway of hat. We
Yeah.
do monthly drops.
Is this a new colorway that you have on today?
No, this is an older one, but I
Okay.
just like the color. of
It
this
goes
one.
with the shirt, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you're like me. You probably you pick your hat first and then you pick the rest of your clothing. This is the first time I'm not wearing a hat in forever too. Like whatever. And I probably got like 100 and we counted them for one of the episodes and I got like 100 and something hats
132,
upstairs,
right?
right? So
Yeah.
I'll pick a hat and then I'll pick the shirt and then like jeans or whatever,
Totally.
right?
Yeah.
So you're like that too?
Yeah, or shoes. I start with shoes. I just felt like wearing Crocs today, so
Yeah.
hence the no socks.
I'm
That's
very
why.
similar except a little different, in which I'll just pick whatever's clean and I'll throw it on.
Yeah.
So
That works too.
it's slightly different, but
that
kind
works.
of the same vein. So I want to switch gears here. I think we've given the viewer a little bit of a background as to what you do, who you are, but I want to take it all away now. Don't talk about your brand, anything you do for work. Tell us who Nick Welch is.
Okay, outside of work, I mean, I love basketball. Basketball has always been my sport. Tennis. I got 2 little ones. They're 3 years old, twins.
Twins?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So they keep me quite busy. Um, my girlfriend's an amazing dancer. She's a 9-time world bachata dancer. So she
Okay.
travels the world and teaches and dances all over. So when we first met, I actually got, we go to Japan and Thailand and all that stuff, and it was cool because, like, in my world, I didn't really know anything about this. So
Yeah.
traveling with her, she would get off, and people would be lining up to sign autographs, and
Oh, wow.
it was just really cool. So now I'm kind of involved in that Latin salsa bachata scene a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so sports, kids, family, just
Yeah.
and then work.
So 3-year-olds, are you coming out with some kids' clothes?
Mostly just for them. But I do plan on, as I evolve and grow, like, that is in the cards. Just right now it's just like trying to be ultra focused on what is really working right now, and then once that builds up, then maybe start tackling something else, maybe some women's, some kids.
So I want to delve a little bit more into having twins. But before I do that, excuse my ignorance. Buchada dancing. Did I pronounce it right?
Bachata. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right.
Okay.
But that's how I say it.
I've never heard that. What is that?
Have you heard of salsa?
Yes.
Okay, so
it goes well on my eggs.
Yeah, it does actually go good on eggs. Salsa is like the easiest way to describe it. It's like front to back.
Okay.
Right, and then bachata is you're going left to right.
Yeah,
and it's just more. It's slower, but it's a similar, Latin form of dance. So
do they do that here in Winnipeg? Like, is there a
yeah, she
studio?
teaches. Yeah,
she teaches.
Yeah,
it?
yeah. She has a
Okay.
studio. She has Dance World. So if you look it up on Instagram,
Yeah. Well, let's give it a shout out.
Yeah,
Dance World.
Shout out Dance World.
Awesome.
So yeah, she's an amazing teacher. She has classes all the time. They host events, so you can go there and social dance. It's an amazing community.
Yeah.
You
should take that up with Tammy.
Yeah,
I should.
You
but
absolutely
probably
should.
if you ever see me dance, probably not.
It's probably a good workout.
You
too.
got to start. You got to
Yeah.
start.
Yeah.
When I first met her, she showed me. I said I'd never be caught dead doing it, and
now you do it
here
all
we
the
go.
Yeah, but you look like someone who could do it. Whereas, and mostly Greg, we don't.
I took salsa dancing with my wife when we were dating. So like we did salsa and we did something else at like a dance thing where we would weekly go.
Yeah.
And it lasted for like 2 months. And then we were like, I don't think Greg's catching on. So
Exactly.
my wife was good. Like she's got rhythm. Me, I'm like 3 left feet.
Oh yeah.
So what's something then, after telling us who you are, what's something that people wouldn't know about you?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Like, do you have a special skill?
I mean, the bachata thing was probably it, but I don't know. I'm really getting into cooking.
Yeah?
Yeah, I really like that.
What's your favorite style?
Barbecue. Like I got one of those Traegers.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I've
yeah?
just been learning everything about it and just like
So your summer disappeared then.
yeah, oh yeah, just yeah. So I really like the Traeger. I'm gonna try and figure out some sort of system in the winter so I don't freeze out there. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, you'll freeze. There's no system
Yeah,
in
yeah,
place.
yeah.
You're in Winnipeg.
Do you have a
So-
garage?
maybe some crazy heat lamps. Who knows?
No, that's no.
Yeah, you can
You're
get
just
the-
gonna freeze.
the heat-
You're just gonna go
That's
outside
true.
in your flip flops and throw it in there and run back. There is no system, and
Yeah.
they're not getting a bubble
A
in
tunnel.
their backyard.
A tunnel.
Yeah,
So we're coming over.
yeah.
So we're coming over Saturday night. What's
Perfect.
on the barbecue? for
Us,
us?
Madonna,
Yes.
and Chandra.
To Italy. You have the Traeger. What are you cooking for us?
I don't know. You guys like some steaks?
Yeah.
Steaks are easy.
Yeah. You do
Do some
steak,
steaks,
brisket?
some-
Do you do brisket?
You know what? I haven't done it yet. I have one in my freezer that I'm planning on attempting.
Is
But
it
it's just like
daunting?
it's just the prep time. Like
Yeah.
I've just been talking to like it's almost like a book club for like people with Traegers, you know?
Yeah.
It's a support group.
Yeah, exactly. So like some people get up throughout the night and I'm like, I'm not there yet, you
Yeah.
know, to spray it with like apple juice or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I don't know.
And then you got to take it out and you got to let it rest.
rest and that whole
You got to
thing.
wrap it and
Write
everything.
that
Yeah.
down. Apple juice.
Apple juice.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm just not there yet.
I have a buddy that does brisket, and actually, two buddies. Roman is one of them.
Yeah.
Who does brisket, and he always like, you know that something's going on when he has Instagram stories, because it usually starts out with going to the barbecue and then the barbecue opening up, and we get the big reveal. It's ribs or
Oh, yeah.
brisket or whatever he's got going on.
By the
right?
way, I'd like to take a moment just to talk to Roman out there if he's listening.
Yeah.
I'm yet to receive my invite for any of these events that include anything on his Traeger, his barbecue. So I'm just waiting.
Okay.
I'm just putting it out there. Roman, if you're
We'll just go to Nick's place, and then
There
we'll
you go.
we'll do an Instagram
Yeah.
story from there,
Yeah.
and send it just to Roman.
yeah, for sure. So anyway, I just threw that out there. Back to you.
Roman's one of our. He's a friend of ours, but he listens to every episode, and he's
Okay.
got a giant garage, with a giant TV on the wall. And every now and again, he'll send us a picture
Yeah.
of us on his TV. He's like, "Hey, I'm just catching up." And
That's
we're like,
amazing.
it's cool to us, right? Because you know,
And he'll post every weekend about what is on his barbecue, and
yeah,
that
And-
looks great.
and Tim's
When's
not
our-
there.
Yeah.
when's our
He's-
invite? I know why my voice is so high.
How long have you guys been doing this?
Just over a year.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, our
Nice.
year just came up last week.
Awesome.
1 year of doing these podcasts. We started out just the two of us talking,
Wow.
and then we started to reach out to some people, and we've got to know a lot of great, interesting people.
Totally.
So it's been a lot of fun. We haven't met Madonna yet, so if you want,
Yeah.
you can always just send us her number.
Yeah.
We'll reach out.
And we have a rule though; it has to be in here.
Yeah,
so
she
she can't
has
do it
to-
remotely. She has to come to Winnipeg. We know how much she loves Winnipeg.
You-
And well, she'll say how she doesn't want to come. We'll say, "Well, sorry to hear that."
yeah.
And then we'll send her.
do you
So
know
she has
who,
to pay.
do you know who Kirk Keelback is?
It's hockey.
So he was the first announcer, like
Okay.
one of the big announcers for the Jets that did play-by-play.
Okay.
And he's like one of Tim's like idols from when he was a child. and
He's a
everything.
radio guy, so I'd be sitting on the radio listening to them.
Got you.
Back
got
in
you.
the day.
Right.
So he was our first ever in-person guest.
Cool.
And I got him for Tim's birthday as a surprise. So Tim didn't even know he was joining us. We were just talking, and then he walked through the door, and we did a huge conversation with
That's
him.
awesome.
So Tim said that my surprise will be Scarlett Johansson, but he has not delivered yet.
That would also be a good one.
Yeah.
Do you know? Does your contact know Scarlett?
No.
You knew Madonna.
No.
It's not a silly question.
Scarlett
No.
Johansson's not in the
No, yeah.
dancing community.
Yeah, but some people are in the know. If you're like in a famous
Are you trying
area,
to get contacts from him?
No, the guy, his name is Lil Buck. He's amazing. He was actually in the Apple commercial. Like, I don't know if you ever remember that commercial where the guy was like dancing up the walls and
Oh,
with
really?
the ear pods.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's him. So he's like a really good friend of mine, and he's
Lil
just
L-I-L-B-U-C-K.
LILBUCK.
So
Okay.
we're gonna tag him here, and yeah,
Yeah, Little
Yeah.
Buck.
Lil Buck the
How
legend
how
on
did you get to know
Instagram.
him?
I reached out to him when we first started like actually making shirts, and we just like this is when we were printing on like American Apparel or whatever
Yeah.
at the time, just like I said, just for marketing purposes.
Yep.
And I reached out to him. I like Michael Jackson's music and the way he dances, and I saw Lil Buck just. It was actually kind of like one of those chains. I was following Pharrell.
Yep.
Pharrell posted JR, and then JR posted Little Buck.
Okay.
So I got to meet. I didn't meet Pharrell, but I got to meet JR.
Yep.
And then obviously Lil Buck.
Little Buck, yeah.
So Lil Buck was dancing in the subway in New York to like Michael Jackson, but he was doing it with like it's called Memphis Jukin. I learned is now what the style is called.
Okay.
But he like did that with like Michael Jackson mixed in, and it was really cool. So I just was like, man, this guy's far from ordinary.
Yeah.
So I reached out to him and then sent him some clothes, and then I was in New York just on vacation.
Yeah.
He was in New York, so we just met up and we just became homies. And
That's cool.
fast forward, then he tells me, he's like, yo, I'm going to Madonna's birthday. Can you send me a hoodie to give her? And I was like, how do you know Madonna?
Yeah.
And
how
then
did he know Madonna?
He was a dancer.
Danced for
Oh,
Madonna,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So then made him a white hoodie to give Madonna. Never gave it, or like she never ended up wearing that one.
Yeah.
Then like a week later, he's like, "Yo, come to New York and bring another hoodie. You can meet her and give it to yourself. Maybe you'll have better luck."
Yeah.
And anyways, I did, and then we just like I told her about the brand, and
Yeah.
but yeah, Lil Buck's crazy. He's doing some really big things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
hmm
So you're Far From Ordinary. Was your original shop just called Ordinary?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Far From Ordinary was kind of the branding play of the shop.
Yeah.
what you
So ORDNRY is
Yep.
how it was spelt. And the reason for that was always to mean far from ordinary, but people just started calling it Far From Ordinary
Okay.
because that was like our tagline.
Yeah.
So we just dropped the ORDNRY because no one was really calling it, like except for people who actually went to the shop.
Yeah.
But online people were just like, "Oh, it's FFO, it's Far From Ordinary." So
Did you design the logo yourself?
so we came up with like the rough like sketching of it, and then
Yeah.
at the time I didn't know any graphic designs, so then we had a graphic designer kind of piece it together and go back and forth and back and forth.
Yeah.
But now I know how to do graphics. So.
It's very like a lot of iconic logos are like letters,
Yeah.
right? So like Yankees,
Totally.
the NY is iconic, right?
Yeah.
Fear of God, their
Right.
logo is really awesome, right?
Yeah.
So when you get a logo like the one that you've got, you can't replicate it, and it's something that's that logo,
Yeah.
right? Is that what you were going for?
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Just like exactly like you said, just something that can sit on a t-shirt, something that sits well on a hat, and it's like I don't want something that people feel like they're branding.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it doesn't say like ordinary across it. You know what I mean? It's just like, what is that? It's kind of cool, and then you get to know it, and then you're like, oh, it's Far From Ordinary,
Yeah.
right? So it's just like you said, like a iconic Yankee logo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like understated
Yeah.
in a way, not trying to do too much, but it's kind of that balance. It's almost like a jingle where it seems really, really simple,
Totally.
but it's so catchy.
Totally.
Yeah, that's super cool. Like,
Yeah.
and I like I say, I was saying this before, but I really love that logo.
Oh,
and
thank
the hat.
you.
So can I have it?
Not this one,
Not this
but
one? Okay.
but we'll have
He's got new ones coming
new
out.
ones coming out that you can have.
The picture you shared of Brady Oliveira.
Yeah.
So that's one of the new colorways coming out.
Yeah.
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 So you kind of like teased it just to
Yeah.
throw it out there. Your last ones, you had 3 colors. They had the upside down logo on them. How quickly did those disappear?
Those ones went quick. I think.
Yeah.
I think they were up for like 2 or 3 days, and then they were
I think the red
were
ones were gone like in the first day, right? There
Yeah.
was one that was like
that went really.
instantly it said sold on it already.
Yeah, those ones went really really quick. Again, I was lucky enough to meet like some pretty big influencers, and they toss it on their stories, and it just
Yeah.
depends, right? Like people just like, oh, that's sick, and then they snap it up. I don't even know where half the hats are shipping to. So
Oh no.
yeah, like it's
Like, have you
cool.
looked in just to see, like, hey, like, is there one going to
Yeah, like
Australia?
lots
or...
in the States, lots of it's really cool to see. Like when we first started off, I knew like everybody who was purchasing.
Yeah.
But now I look at the Shopify backends, which I don't typically like go into that much. Like I focus on what I do, and my team focus on what they do.
Yeah.
But I'll just go in periodically, and I'll see like I'm like, well, don't know that name, don't know that. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like, and
Do you
see
feel
it.
bad for the regulars now, though?
No, because they'll like for example, like Brady will just shoot me a text. Like all
Yeah.
those people still kind of hit me up personally and just say, "Yo, I'm swinging by. Like,
Yeah.
I want to see what you have," and then we just chop it up.
If in the near future, anyway, like if you get contact with Scarlett Johansson and you need someone to bring a sweater to her or a hat or something, Greg will do that. And I would like to record it. I'll pay for my ticket just to see that. Excuse me, Miss Johansson, I have this hat, so I need to. That would be great.
That would be hilarious.
If I could go back a little bit to talk about your twin 3-year-old girls, did you say?
Boys.
So they're boys, right?
Yeah.
What is it like bringing up twin boys that are 3?
I don't know what it's like to bring up like an individual kid, so I can just speak on twins. I don't have anything to compare it to, but it's insane.
Yeah.
It's
Do you feel like you get one under control and the other one?
totally.
Yeah.
They feed off of each other. They're always like firing each other up. They have this like confidence about them. So I remember bringing them to like a birthday party, probably when they were 2, and like every like individual kid was kind of staying by their parents and like kind of shy about running in.
Yeah.
As soon as like I let go of their hands, like one goes to the food, one goes to like the ball pit, and just like I'm just like chasing after them. Like they just no fear, you
Yeah.
know. So it's cool. Like I love it, but
Yeah. It's only gonna get more and more
Yeah.
challenging as they get older, right?
Well, I hope that it calms down a little bit, but
the
yeah,
energy will calm down.
Yes.
But like wondering like are they identical?
they are.
Yeah, like imagine having an identical twin. Imagine having an identical twin.
Yeah.
What you could do.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool.
Do you find
would
they're
be.
already starting to develop personalities of their own, and do you find that they take the opposite of the other one, or do you find that they kind of amalgamate it to one person doing the exact same thing?
They're very, very different, but very much so the same, if that makes sense.
Do they ever
Like,
try to trick you?
well, like in like
Who they are?
who they are? No. Like I mean, I can tell
Yeah.
who they are. Like Cassius has like a little birthmark like right by his eye.
Okay.
But sometimes I'll like pretend like I don't know who is who, and then they get mad.
So call them by the wrong name.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cassius is the one of the boys' names, and the
And then
other
is Kingston.
Kingston. Okay.
Yeah,
What,
yeah,
cool.
what were the name? There's any reasons behind the names? That you,
Yeah, so it was actually funny. We were listening to this one song. We were at this club. I do a basketball camp every year with or before COVID with Kelly Olynyk.
Okay.
And we were doing a basketball camp, and then we went to this club after, and like the music was just terrible. And then there was this one song that came on.
The club will be nameless. We won't name
yeah,
the club.
yeah. And
we rhyme things if you want.
yeah. And so me and a buddy were just like listening to the music, and finally, like, you're having a few drinks, whatever, and everything like all of a sudden starts sounding better.
Okay.
And and we hear this one song, so I Shazam it. I'm like, oh, okay, this song is pretty. This is a vibe, right?
Yeah.
And then so the next morning, I check my phone and I'm like, oh, let's listen to this song that I Shazam last night. It's still a little bit foggy.
Yeah. The next day.
And so I listened to the song and I'm like, oh, song's terrible. This song is absolutely awful.
The music wasn't getting better.
No, I just had more drinks.
Yeah.
So I listened to it, and the song was called Cash and Carry.
Okay.
So fast forward, my girlfriend's pregnant, and we found out it's twins. So we just had this ongoing joke about Cash and Carry. So we named, like, before we even had names picked, they're like, oh, this is Cash and Carry,
Yeah.
like in her stomach. So then it kind of grew on us, and we're like, I actually like the name Cash.
Yeah.
So Cassius.
Yeah.
And then
With a K or a C?
C.
Okay.
And we were actually in a bookstore. We were walking up the stairs, and right at the top there was a book that said Cassius Clay, King of New York.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we saw the book, and we actually went and bought the book. So we're like Cash King, and then that's where Kingston came from. So
That's very cool. Kingston was actually the name of my daughter if she was born a boy.
okay,
Yeah.
that's
we
awesome.
We named her Eden instead, and my dog's name is Kingston.
Save
Unreal.
the
Yeah.
Kingston for the dog.
but
That's
like
wicked.
we went to Kohl's in the States, and we got these like little what's it called, stockings for Christmas,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And my wife was pregnant at the time, and we didn't know if we were having a boy or girl, so we got the E and the K, right?
Yeah.
And we got all the other names. Like my son's name is Cruz, and then me and Lorraine. So we got the G, the L, the C, and then we got an E and a K. And we're like, well, we don't know what we're gonna do, until we have her, right? So she was born in May, so we had the E for her for the next Christmas, and then we just had the K. Like it was just sitting in the Christmas stuff all this time, right? And then during COVID, I'm like, man, I really want to get a dog. And we're like, well, we have a name already. Let's get a boy dog, and we'll name him Kingston, right?
Unreal.
And it just finishes the family, and then the K goes up on the tree now.
That's right.
So, but I love the name Kingston. Like as a boy's name too, it's a super, super strong name, right?
Totally.
We call him Kinger.
Kinger.
Kinger for short, or just King Dog.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, he's royalty in our house. So
You need a cat yet to finish off your.
I can't get a cat.
Yeah.
No,
That would
I-
finish
I
out the
couldn't do a
family
cat
completely.
either.
An iguana. So you got twin boys.
Yep.
They keep your life busy. How does the daily, ongoing, day-to-day work with your girlfriend, yourself? Are you split duties? You, I guess, work at home during the day, that kind of stuff. So who's looking after the kids now?
They're at daycare right now.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, we just we kind of just organize the night or a couple nights before. Just what's your day look like? What's my day look like? Okay, you drop them off, I'll pick them up, or whatever. Just kind of figure it out.
Yeah.
As we go. So
What was the reaction when, because you're going to have a kid, and then what was the reaction when, well, actually you're going to have not one,
but two.
but
Yeah.
two.
It was pretty nuts. But it was amazing. Like it was just like one and done type thing.
Yeah.
So it was
So it's 2.
exactly. So yeah, it was an awesome experience. It was during COVID, which made it a little bit crazy for like doctor checkups and all that stuff. Like I couldn't go in to the appointments. But yeah, it was
An interesting time.
yes. Yes.
But you want a girl yet, right?
My girl wants one, but I'm pretty exhausted as it is.
I've got 3 boys and a girl, and a girl is a whole different animal than the 3 boys, because like she is sassy and like a princess, and
But
like
they're so much easier. Just do it.
he has 3 girls.
Give in to your girlfriend. She
Yeah.
wants a girl. Come on. I have 3 girls, 18, 19, and 20 years old. And they are 13 months and 14 months apart, respectively, between each set, right? So we were bang, bang, bang. We were done, and that was it. So,
But he did bang bang. Like he had an automatic weapon there. He got 2 shots off at once. So he's 2 and done. I don't know how it works.
how did I
I'm
get
not a
2
doctor.
shots off? No, you explain it.
I don't know, but it splits. I don't know how. I'm not a big anatomy person, so I don't know how it all works. But well, you're working with like a ton of athletes and stuff like that over the years. What has been your favorite athlete to work with?
It's got to be Kelly Olynyk.
Okay.
Yeah, he's also a business partner.
Okay.
Yeah. Really good friends. Yeah, he's just absolute beauty.
Yeah.
When you say you run basketball camps with Kelly Olynyk,
Well, he ran the camp.
so
and-
what are you doing? Because you said you're a baller, but are you that good that you can help run a basketball camp?
Well, I mean, these are kids, right?
Yeah,
So I'm not
okay.
like he's an NBA player. Like
Yeah.
I'm not even close to
Yeah.
that level. But like
Well, you could be. I don't know.
I think Tim's
No.
asking because he wants to know if he invites you to his basketball game on Sunday nights, whether or not he wants you on the team.
Oh.
I think that's what Tim's trying to let. He's already trying to get Willie Jefferson to come out and be on his team. He's trying to win.
Yeah, oh,
Right?
yeah.
So he's
You
trying
gotta-
to
you
figure out
gotta
who's
be
going to be on
winning.
his team.
No, I can hoop. I haven't played in a while. I'm too afraid to get injured nowadays. I see like all my friends tearing their Achilles and stuff like that.
Wait. How old are you?
I just turned 36.
36, and
Yeah.
you're afraid to get injured?
Yeah.
No, come on.
Yeah. Oh
I'm,
yeah.
I'm 48. I'll get on the court with you. You can't be afraid to get injured. You got to get out there.
All right.
You got to hoop.
Just remember to stretch.
Just stretch. Yeah.
Anything
Yeah.
after 30, you got to be
That's
stretching.
true.
And, even us after 40, you got to be stretching.
I
Yes, yeah.
find that there's some. I know some friends the same thing. Like, well, if I do this, I could tweak this. So they won't do anything, and after a while, they just don't do anything. You can't do that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you are right. But 2 of my friends just tore their Achilles playing basketball, and I was like, man, I'm not doing that.
You don't want to be on crutches.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, this really sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the alternative is never doing it. You got to get on the court again.
Yeah.
If you tear something, you tear something. That's just how it is.
yeah.
If you're really worried about getting up in the morning, and you could slip,
That's true.
on the ice, and you
and
could be
tear
out for
something.
6 months.
That's true.
So let's put
Valid
together a dream team to
Yeah.
go against some of those guys that
That's
think
not a
they're
bad
really
idea.
good, right?
Yeah.
So we'll get Nick out, we'll get Willie out. Willie, what is he, 6'11" or something like that, and get him out as our
Did he-
center.
He said he was a baller, right? I couldn't.
Yeah,
remember.
he said he's gonna come out and play.
Oh, yeah,
He's
he's an
just tall.
athlete.
Yeah. Well, he played basketball in college and stuff like that too, in high school, I believe. So he's big into it. So if you could collaborate with any fashion or sports icon of all time, what would be your main pick?
So any like brand or
No, like if you
any
could get your brand on any sports or fashion icon.
oh, probably Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's the man.
Yeah.
That would be
Everything he
pretty
touches
cool.
turns to gold, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be super cool.
So make the 23, make the hat with the 23, get it in his house, see what happens, right? I think he's still with Nike right now, right?
Yeah.
So it's probably tough to get in.
Yeah, that would. I mean, I'm sure he wears.
Unless you collaborated with Nike and did like
That would be cool.
FFO by 23 or whatever, that type of thing, or a Jordan FFO.
That is my dream collab too, Nike.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been a Nike guy since I can remember.
Yeah.
So
Nike is like that's our shoes, right?
Yeah,
like,
totally.
Nobody's going around saying I'm wearing Reeboks.
Right. Yeah.
And the argument for the Jordan versus LeBron, I'm assuming you would pick Jordan,
Oh, for sure.
right?
For sure.
And the argument is like who has, the most MVPs and who has all this stuff, right? And then they go in the end like, do you walk around saying I'm wearing LeBrons?
No, I mean I have a pair of LeBrons, but I have like triple or you know what I mean. Like I can't
Yeah.
recount how many pair of Jordans I have.
And
know?
and when you're wearing LeBrons, you'd be like, I'm wearing Nikes.
Right.
Right?
And yeah.
So
yeah.
that's why Jordan is the GOAT.
Yes. Yeah.
Greatest of all, he's a LeBron guy. So that's why.
You're LeBron.
I admit. Oh no, I surely admit that Jordan is here, but there are people that are LeBron lovers who think LeBron is number one, and they're out to lunch. And there are people that are LeBron haters that think he's 10th, 11th, 12th, and they're also out to lunch. There's a middle ground. My opinion, LeBron's number two of all time. You can make an argument for Kobe, but LeBron, if you're thinking of it logically, is the second best player of all time. That's my opinion. You can agree or not. And the one single argument for Jordan is obviously the championships.
Right.
In that whenever he got to the championships, they won. Now, a lot of people will say that Michael Jordan won. Well, that's not correct. The team won. He had a lot of help from Pippen, etc. Probably
Totally.
better coaching than LeBron's ever had. There's a whole big argument to be had here.
So
But there are some haters and there are some lovers that are kind of need to meet in the middle. And that's just my opinion.
totally.
So
I don't know enough of like. I mean, obviously, I love basketball, but like two different eras. You know what I mean? Like I didn't study it enough to really make a educated opinion on.
And there's some other people. I've never understood why Wilt Chamberlain has never been considered the best basketball player of all time. But I think he played in a time where most people
Different
that
era.
watched him play, it's a different era. Just like any old, nobody watched Babe Ruth play. So
Right.
the young people are never going to say Babe Ruth the best, baseball player of all time because nobody ever saw him play. So you have a little bit of bias.
At least there's film of Jordan.
Yeah, there's
so you'll always
recency
double look.
bias, but you forget things over time, and you
Totally.
tend to. The best players all time are the ones that exist in the last 20 years, just because of recency.
So
bias.
Jordan's your dream collab with, or Nike or Jordan dream collabs. What is the strangest collab you've ever done?
Strangest.
or a request for one that you denied because it was so strange. By the way, do you deny? Do people come to you ever and say, "This is our idea," and you say, "Heck no"?
Yeah, I mean, we said in a polite way.
You
for
don't say
sure.
heck no.
Yeah, we've gotten lots of requests. I can't even think of any off the top of my head that were so crazy, but yeah, if it did happen, I would just say, oh, maybe just doesn't make sense at this point or
Yeah.
whatever, right? Like I can't think of anything that was
Strange or
super crazy. Yeah.
weird.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Let's do a different question now. Are you like if I would compare you to maybe a writer who writes music, and they sit down and sometimes they have a pen beside their bed, and if something just inspirational hits them, they write down a thing. And other times people are more selective and have an actual time where it's 10 a.m. I'm going to write 3 ideas now. How does your process work? And do you ever get stuck in, let's say, a block for creativity?
Great question. So I'm more of a I use my phone, like my notes in my phone. So I get a lot of my inspiration from exercise. So I prefer to do it outside. Like I like to go for a walk and then just like put my earpods in and just listen to music and then just really be present. Because when I'm present, you can really pick up on everything. So if you're looking at the grass, the color of the grass, the roads, like all of these different things, and then it
Yeah.
starts sparking ideas, and then I'm in my notepad saying like, okay, let's try this colorway, like, and you just start thinking of different things like that. So a lot of note taking while I'm on the walk.
Yeah.
Um, and I like to travel a lot too. So also that's when a lot of the inspiration comes, in Miami, Tokyo, wherever you are, there's like you're always seeing something that's different,
Yeah.
and then you want to put your own twist on it and make it like fit the mold of your brand and all that. So that's typically where I draw my inspiration from.
So staying true to your brand, but going and
Inspiration,
looking
yeah.
for that inspiration for
What
it
what are
still.
your top? Give me your top 3 outdoor places that you've been to on your travels that you've said, I am so inspired. This is awesome. It can be nature. It could be anything. Top 3 anywhere.
Um, so Miami, like I really like walking. Kelly used to have this place that was right on Biscayne, so right across the American Airlines arena.
Okay.
And I would get up in the morning and I would go for a run, and I would run along the boardwalk, and it would take me all the way to South Beach.
Yeah.
It took me about probably an hour and a half, 2 hours to get there.
Okay.
But along there you just see like beautiful like architecture, like the houses are amazing. They're right on the water. There's like palm trees, there's you name like there's just so much going on.
Yeah.
Boats and all this stuff. So like that's one place that I really like going. I would do it like every day.
Yeah.
Shibuya Crossing in Japan.
Okay.
There's just so much happening. It's kind of like New York. It's just like, but it's just like the lights from like,
Is that the crosswalk where you see all the people crossing at once?
exactly
Type of thing?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So there's just like so many different lights. There's so much color there. There's so much happening, right?
Yeah.
So like
The energy is probably
the
unreal,
energy is
right?
amazing. Yeah. So that's another good one. And I'm trying to think of New York is awesome too, just like because you got all the different boroughs and stuff like that.
Where's your favorite place in New York? I'll see if mine's the same.
Hmm.
To do exactly what you're talking about. And I know I'm right with you because when I go for runs at places I just love. So in New York for me, it's going Dumbo and Brooklyn Bridge
Okay.
area, that whole stretch.
Yeah.
But yours could be different.
So I have a really good friend who's from Harlem.
Okay.
So he took me through Harlem, and that was really cool because I was a big like Dipset fan
Yeah.
growing up. So that was kind of cool, and like just like seeing like like the culture and like the people and stuff like that, like that was like really really cool. So
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, like for me personally, I feel like when I go to places like Las Vegas or New York, South Beach, I feel like the energy is so intense there, like it's hard to sleep.
totally.
Right? Like, and I know like Vegas, everybody says they don't sleep in Vegas, whatever, but like I actually feel like in all those places, you got the hustle that's going on around you. You got people consistently working or pushing and
Totally.
that type of thing, right? Like that hustler mentality that is thrown out there all the time. I feel like those cities really thrive. And I think that's why there's a lot of creatives out of there,
Totally.
right?
Totally.
So how do you think that your creativity got brought out of you being in a smaller city, like in Winnipeg? You said you were in Toronto and Montreal at the same time, right?
Yeah, like I lived in Ottawa, so
Or
I
in
was-
Ottawa, right?
Yeah, I was traveling there. It's pretty easy to get around there.
Yeah.
I've always been creative. Like I always liked drawing as a kid.
Yeah.
But I just really liked fashion. Like I was in retail. So I don't know. I just always been one of those people who just, if I want to do something, I do it. Right.
Yeah.
So I don't want to follow a cookie cutter path of, okay, go to school, do this, do this, do this. You know?
Just to clarify, you were born and raised in Winnipeg?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And then moved to Ottawa.
Yeah, just for a couple of years, and
Okay.
then moved back. And
Okay.
then been here since. But
What brought you back then?
What's that?
What brought you back to Winnipeg?
Family, friends.
Yeah.
Home.
Yeah.
Yeah. Winnipeg is like one of those places that you just like, the people here are so cool, you know? And like there's being around your people is better than being anywhere else, you know?
Yeah.
So after you've traveled to so many amazing, awesome places, what is the thing about Winnipeg that you still appreciate other than the people? And I get that because you spend a lot of time getting contacts and your friends and your family that you're attached to, and they happen to be here.
Yeah.
But other than that, like about the actual city and province, what do you still appreciate about this place we call Winnipeg, Manitoba?
I mean, to be honest, there's the main thing is the people. Like the city itself is kind of whatever, you know?
Yeah.
There are some really amazing pockets, but there's not, like, if you look at it in terms of like a city, there's not really that much going on when you travel to other cities, right? So it's
Yeah.
like that's definitely not what's keeping me here is is the city itself, but the people, you can't replicate these people, you know?
Yeah.
The people here are awesome.
So speaking of the people, you were recently part of the Made from What's Real campaign,
Yeah.
the new Winnipeg slogan. So what is your definition of what's real for that campaign?
So I think that what the message they were trying to get across was pretty much the same thing. Is just like Winnipeg people are just like a different breed. Like they're very like real. I know it's such a cliche thing to say, right? It's like, what does that even mean? But it's like, just like, I think maybe it's because like it's a smaller city and everybody's kind of grown up together. I don't know what it is, but it's just like something about Winnipeg people. They just like, you know, like when I was living in Ottawa, like something like I was there when I was, how old was I? I was young 20s before I opened the store.
Yeah.
So I'd be like, hey, like, you want to go pregame at like my place, and then we'll go out somewhere, and they're like, pregame? What's that? You know? Whereas like in Winnipeg, it's like you always go to someone's house, have a few drinks, and then you go.
You don't
out.
go to the club until 11.
Exactly.
12 o'clock.
The pregame's the best part.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you find that what the thing we say on our license plate, friendly Manitoba, does fit
Totally.
versus like, you know, maybe a New Yorker?
Totally.
Hey, get out of here.
Yeah.
Totally.
Is that your New York accent?
Terrible accent.
I love it.
I do apologize for it, but yeah. So
Yeah.
that's a question. I'm interested because you have been to so many places, seen so many people. So you do.
It is like I always walk past people and I don't know, and I just say, hey, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's like reciprocated. Whereas like in other places, it's like may sometimes you get it, you know? Other like cities, people are just too busy and so like head down. That
I do
they
at
don't
least.
realize.
I do the chin up. At
Yeah.
least.
Totally.
Yeah. And like for me, whenever I call, so when we go on like vacations and stuff like that, I'll call restaurants for reservations and stuff, or we'll call places ahead, and I'll be like, "Hey, how are you doing today?" And they'll be like, "Good." It's like they've never been asked how they're doing.
What do you want?
Right?
Exactly,
Like,
right?
They want to get to the point. Like, what do you want from
Exactly.
me, right? I'm like, and I'm trying to be like friendly.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm like, "Hey, how are you doing today?" They're like, "Good. What can I do for you?"
Yeah, like hurry
I'm
up.
like, "Okay, that's awesome. Glad you're doing good." Like
His
we're
line.
doing-
His line is, "Are you living the dream?"
Yeah.
And then sometimes they'll say, "Oh, it's a nightmare today."
Yeah. Not everybody loves the living the dream comment.
Yeah. That's a classic.
So
You
when
can't steal it. It's his.
you can steal it.
No,
Living the dream is not copywritten.
No,
Yeah.
you said 2 years ago you copyrighted it. No.
No, you can't say it
Oh,
because it's just weird if you say it. Because we have this together, and then you steal my sayings, you steal my questions.
yeah. So it's fair. It's all fair game.
He just steals.
Yeah, they're his questions. Just like it's his food. I can't have
Yeah.
a bite of it. I can't.
So,
ask one
question
of his
for you: do you
questions.
share food? You're out with friends and stuff like that.
Like my girlfriend, yes. My kids, yes, but nobody else.
yeah.
Within the context of your home.
Yeah, yeah. I'll
No
share.
other. It's your bubble.
Yeah.
If
Share
you're-
food with a bubble.
You go to a restaurant with your girlfriend. I'm gonna set the mood here.
Yeah.
You're at the restaurant with your girlfriend. It's a restaurant you love.
Yeah.
And you have a dish that you will get, and she gets her own dish because she doesn't want to get what you get. You guys both get your plates, and she goes, "Can I have some of yours?"
Can I have a
Of
bite?
course. Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then when she says, "Do you want some of mine?" Do you
Well,
do
it
you
depends
reciprocate?
because she sometimes eats interesting things. So
Yes,
so-
exactly, right?
So if it's like squid or something like that, I'm like, that's all you.
Yeah.
I'm not.
You must have been to some foreign restaurant where some really interesting stuff was on the menu, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. Like
was
I mean, Japan obviously is one of the craziest. I don't even know what she was ordering when we were there. Some stuff came out. I was like, I'm just gonna eat my ramen over here.
I'm gonna have my burger and fries.
Yeah,
here.
exactly. Yeah, like I love getting my meal, and then when she says, "Hey, can I try it?" I'm always reluctant because like this is my meal. I'm not very good at sharing, is what I'm saying. But I'll let her have some of it. When Tim wants to bite, I'm like, no, like I like stab his hand. And
Yeah.
back away.
Now, in fairness, I just do that because I know it.
But
bothers her.
then she'll say, "Do you want some of mine?" I'm like, "No," because like this is the taste. This is my flavor that I'm going for.
Yeah,
And when I mix it with like whatever she's having, it just
fair point.
And
right?
as we established in a previous episode, as he said, she orders the most bland dish on the
not
menu.
bland, but not as spicy or flavorful.
Bland
Right.
was the word he used. We
It
can go
was the
back to
word
the
I
tape.
used. But it's just like, and it's the same reason why like I'll have water with my dinner is because like the flavor of what I'm eating is what I want to enjoy,
I like that.
right? Because so
Mhm.
I'll just drink water with my dinner. But for unless I'm having like wings or like
Then you have a
fried
beer or
chicken
whatever.
or like just going for like American food, hot dogs or hamburgers, then I'll like have something with it. But
Right.
when you're getting like a dish that you want to know the flavors and everything,
Totally.
you got to go with water. That's just, and I don't want to mix it with whatever flavor she picks.
Yeah,
that's
good.
just my opinion.
I like
Tim
that.
doesn't agree with it though.
Oh, that's fine. I'm sure we can all be individuals here. If you weren't designing clothes, what do you think you would do for a living?
I would like to think be an athlete. That would be what I would like to do. So either tennis or basketball.
But you might tear your ACL.
No,
Well, no.
I would have prepared for it.
You prepare for it.
I would have
But
been
the
prepared.
issue is you're not preparing for
No,
this.
no. Think about it. He's 36 now. You
Yeah,
said
36,
so. 36 now. Most athletes at 36 are usually retiring
Yeah, they're winding
or
down.
on their downswing, right?
Yeah.
And they work out every day. They're
Totally.
doing their muscle memories there, right? Tim, come on, you got to give them a break.
How
If-
old are your friends that have gotten these?
My
injuries?
age.
They're still your age.
Yeah. My age. One's a year older.
They're not
So-
stretching.
I don't know. I didn't really ask
Oh.
too much, but they were both playing basketball, and I was like, nah, I'm not doing that.
Other pro tip: wear compression gear.
Okay.
So like compression shorts underneath your basketball shorts.
Yeah.
I pulled my calf. I wear a compression sleeve on my calf
Okay.
and I never have issues after that.
Really?
But the compression stuff helps 100%. You see
Okay.
those guys that wear the tape
Yes.
right on the back of their hamstrings and stuff?
Yeah.
That is going to help you out. So if you're
Okay.
worried about it, get
Good
the
to know.
compression shorts
Okay.
for sure.
So then, different question. I'll rephrase the question. Now, at 36 years old, if you were, if there was no such thing as collaborations and clothing wear
Yeah.
tomorrow, what would you do for a living? Did you have any dream job or something else you wanted to do when you were growing up for like a profession?
No, this was it.
It was it.
This or sports.
Yeah.
So
So being a designer essentially is what you've become,
Yeah.
right? So like it's your own company, but it's more of a design company, right?
totally.
Like you could, if you wanted to, you could make like art with FFO stuff on it, or you could make your clothing and your shorts and your hats and
Totally.
that kind of stuff. You could even, get somebody and, get them to spray paint a mural or something with your logo on it, right?
Yep,
But you design it. So
exactly.
like that's what you love.
Yeah, so I do the design, but I've also I really love knowing about the fabrics, the textiles, how it's sewn, how it's like, because that's where like you can really, it's the small details, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? So like all those little things, if you don't know about it, then you can't add it to your product. So just like different types of stitching, puff print, all these different things
Do
that
you go
add.
overseas to
Yeah,
check that stuff out?
exactly.
Yeah?
Yeah. So I like to be involved in the process of it actually being made so I can
Yeah.
learn. I'm always learning about, new fabrics and what they can do and
Yeah.
all that kind
Well,
of
you
stuff.
you could compare developing clothes to cooking, like
Totally.
in that if you forget one little thing, like if you have
Totally.
5 cups of baking soda versus 5 teaspoons, it's going to throw the entire thing out of
Totally.
whack, right? So
Totally.
What's been your favorite material for like t-shirts and stuff like that? What would be your go-to if money was no object and you could sell your shirts for $300 a shirt? Like what material would you go with?
It's same material that we're using now. Like we've typically done like a all cotton shirt. Like that's more for oversized shirt.
Yep.
It just sits really well. But then we also for our more fitted shirt, we add some spandex to it, so it's just because when it's fitted, you want it to be a little bit more comfortable, like moving. If it's like very rigid, it's not going to be comfortable. It's not going to fit you the same way.
Yep.
But then that same token, you don't want that kind of looseness when you're wearing like a oversized shirt. It won't drape the same way. So
Yep.
just like I said, understanding the materials and what it's used for.
And you've gotten into some golf stuff in the past as
Yeah.
well, right?
Yeah,
So like golf shirts and that type of thing as well.
totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
do you
So
golf?
I do. I do.
Well,
No, not well. Not well. I would say well for how little I go, but definitely not a good golfer.
But you look good doing it,
That's right.
right?
That's
like
right.
that's the
That's-
most important
That's
thing.
right.
You
Whereas,
gotta look good doing it.
whereas I do-
nice shirt, the right pants,
Yeah.
shoes that match the hat.
yeah. So I do neither. So let's switch gears here. You love basketball. You love designing. Let's go with the Sea Bears. Okay,
Yeah.
if you were going to design a mascot for the Sea Bears, what would it look like? What would it be wearing?
I think they did a great job on their mascot. Probably look very similar because I mean a sea bear is essentially like a polar bear, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is a
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a nickname for a polar bear.
Yeah, so I think they nailed it with that.
Yeah.
I actually really like their logo. So
Yeah.
I think they were bang on.
The color schemes are so cool
They're
because
wicked.
it's a throwback to the Thunder back
Yes.
in the day, like
Yes.
the Winnipeg Thunder.
Yeah.
And the Winnipeg Thunder had the polar bear as their logo too.
That's right.
I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like it was the triangle logo,
Yes.
and then the polar bear had the ball.
I remember the triangle.
It was back in the day when like the Sharks came out with their logo, like the San Jose Sharks,
Right.
and I think it was very similar to like the shark coming out of the triangle with the
okay.
stick. I
Yes.
think the polar bear had the ball in his paws or something like that.
Okay. I'll have to go back and look at that. But I do remember something like that. Yeah.
But the colors really throw back to that. Which,
Yes.
as a Winnipegger, like it gives me that vibe of like, remember as a kid going to Thunder games in the old arena, and now we get to go to these
Yeah.
Bears games. But
When I was younger, younger than you, I went to the first Thunder game. It was at the arena. I just remember JJ Eubanks. JJ Eubanks. That's I remember. Yeah.
that's all you remember.
I think they did pretty well, and then they went to the Cyclone and the whole thing. But I was at that first game.
So
Yeah.
the Winnipeg
the old
Cyclone
arena.
played at the
Yeah.
old at Max Bell, I think.
No,
right?
they played at Convention Center, and then
Convention
maybe
Center,
they went to Max Bell. So it kind of
Okay.
downgraded after that.
Are you
but, yeah.
surprised with how much success the Sea Bears have had?
I mean, yeah, I really didn't have any expectations going in.
Yeah.
And I was really surprised with that production value though. Like
Yeah.
it was incredible. I think they did a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
I love going. So
So now you got to get your your friends, like Madonna, to come and sing at halftime.
That would be cool. Could you imagine?
Do a halftime show?
That would be, well, they do a halftime show
They
every
do.
game.
Yeah.
And they bring in a live entertainer.
Yeah, they've had
usually,
some pretty big names. Like
Yeah.
Cardinal Official, I think, was there.
and they do them pregame too.
Yes.
Which the one thing I love about Seabears games is you can go down to the court side and you can watch the game from the
little
end.
lounge.
Yeah, in the little lounge where they have the stage and the merch booth and everything like that. But the cool thing is, like, anybody can go down there, right? And you could be a part of that action. And then before the game, they have the live concert, and halftime they have a live concert.
Totally.
It's very personable
It is.
of an experience,
It
right?
is.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the music's good. Like, usually have a DJ and stuff like that. So
it feels like a party.
It
the
does.
whole game.
yeah.
And it's been great because they've been doing well,
Yes.
right? So
Yeah.
that helps with the
Totally.
vibe and everything like that in the arena.
What's kept me from going is, and you can correct me, I'm sure I'm ignorant of the whole thing, but the quality of basketball. I guess the preconceived notion is it's Canadian basketball. So one who doesn't go might say, I'm not going because the quality is subpar.
No, it's good. It's good basketball. These guys are hoopers. These guys can hoop for
Yeah.
sure.
Are they guys like in D leagues? In
Yeah,
some
like
programs, stuff like that?
yeah,
Some of them are
there's
G League players.
Some G leagues.
Okay.
A lot of Europe.
Okay.
Players. University. Ex NBA guys. Couple of ex NBA guys.
It's kind of like a conditioning league, right? Like some of these guys are coming to stay in condition, I would assume,
Yeah, I think so.
right?
Yeah.
And like it's not the G League because G League runs at the same time as NBA, right? So this
Yes.
is kind of like just an off season. A lot of guys will come in to get their skills and that type of thing.
And maybe even get noticed, or right, it's just another set of eyes on you.
I
But
think the Sea Bears lost like 3 guys at the end of the year last year, right? That kept getting called to their
they did, yeah.
their main teams and everything. So
Some European teams, I believe.
yeah,
Yeah.
so it was really cool. Like if you haven't gone, you gotta go.
Yeah.
Because not only is the basketball good, but also the entertainment during the game. Like it's nonstop, and it feels like when it ends, it's like holy smokes, like
Yeah.
it's over already.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You
It's
just
good.
want it to keep going.
Well, Nick's inviting us courtside.
You got- yeah, you
For the opener, I appreciate that. Thank you for the offer. I'll be taking you up on it.
Yeah.
I want to ask you a fun question. Okay, you're having a dinner party. You have your Traeger all lined up, the brisket smoking, and you could invite 3 people to your barbecue. Any person, they could be dead, they could be living. Any people in history now. Before 3, who are those 3 people? And for those 3 people, what are you wearing?
Okay, 3 people. Michael Jordan. Tiger Woods. I think I'd like to meet him. And maybe Larry David.
Larry David.
Because we need some comedy.
Yeah, that would add a lot to the
Yeah.
his.
Now, those are 3 good individuals.
That would be a dinner party worth recording,
Right?
Yeah,
That would be a good vibe.
you know,
It reminds me, the comedy reminds me of Michael Jordan when he was on Saturday Night Live, and he was on with the episode where Al Franken plays a character where Stuart Smalley, where he was a motivational speaker, and he'd always talk to people and like build up their self-esteem, and he'd always say, "You're good enough, you're smart enough."
and
And doggone it, people like you. And he would do it typically in a mirror to talk to himself to build his character up. And
Right,
his
right,
whatever.
right.
But they had like special guests come on the show in SNL, and he would talk to those people that were, of course, and Michael Jordan was one of them. And he's talking to Michael Jordan. He says, "Michael, you're good enough. You're smart enough." And
Yeah.
doggone it, people like,
Because I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me.
and Michael Jordan, he's doing everything he can to not just laugh completely, but he just can't do it.
I can't
I love
imagine how much yelling would be going on there with Larry David, though. You know, you got Larry David
Oh.
yelling. You got Michael Jordan, like,
Oh, yeah.
literally just sitting there.
Jordan's actually, from what I understand, is not a loud, abrasive guy. He is on the court. He's loud
Yeah.
because he's kind of a
But
tip
he's-
control kind
I
of guy.
think he's a
But
calm-
in regular life, he's kind of a little toned down kind of guy.
But that would also be a fun golf game.
Yeah.
Be
That
phenomenal.
would
Well,
be a
Jordan's
great
going to be
foursome.
putting $100
Yes.
per hole on every
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen that documentary with Jordan?
Yes.
Remember when he's playing that quarters game
Yeah.
against that guy?
I know.
He's so competitive. He would probably
Oh, for sure.
Tiger Woods,
Yeah.
Michael Jordan, Larry David apparently is
Well,
a golfer too, and
Yeah.
So
then
Michael's
yourself.
probably not putting any money down because Tiger's playing.
No, he's partnering with Tiger, and they're doing 2-on-2.
Against,
me and
against
Larry.
David and you and Larry against Tiger and Michael.
Oh my God.
You got to
You're
figure
gonna-
out the handicap first
Listen, I would be on Larry's team just for the entertainment value.
in the golf cart.
Yeah, it'd be hilarious.
$100,000,
I
but
don't-
I'm laughing the whole
I'll get Larry,
time.
my boy Larry, to pay it.
That's right.
Yeah.
He's got the money.
He's got the
Larry,
money.
before we start, Michael's gonna put up some money.
Yeah.
I need you to front this.
I need you to
I'll
spot me.
give you some
Yeah.
clothes, whatever you need.
Caps.
We got this.
Capture. We'll outfit you in the outfit. But that's
That'll be fine.
Yeah.
It'll be okay.
Yeah.
your Larry David
It's
sounds a lot
terrible.
like Seinfeld.
Terrible. Yeah, but Jerry is Larry anyway.
Yeah.
Larry David is not. I don't think Larry David was Seinfeld. I
Well,
think
he-
Larry David was George.
Patterned. No, the voice was patterned after Jerry. The
Okay.
character, not so much.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I remember. Have you ever seen Larry David step in for who's the guy that plays George again? What's his name?
Jason Alexander.
Jason Alexander. So Jason Alexander wasn't on set, so Larry said like I'll play George for this scene, and he comes in and he's the creator of the show, so you'd think he would know how to do it. He deadpans it like 100%.
Really?
Yeah, he does George 100%.
I love that.
Yeah, so that dinner party would be fantastic. So
Yeah.
so
If it happens, you guys should come.
yeah, we'll be there. We'll record it
Yeah,
all
of
for you
course.
if it happens. We'll get Madonna as the entertainment for just the background music and
Yeah.
everything like that. So if you could recommend 3 places in Winnipeg or Manitoba to go to, anybody that's visiting, Madonna's coming here to Winnipeg,
Mhm.
and you need to take her out to 3 different places to show her the best of Winnipeg. What places are you taking her to?
It could be a restaurant. It could be it
A
doesn't have to be
facility of
food,
some
but
sort, whatever you're taking her to.
3 places.
I would go Pizzeria Gusto
Okay.
on Academy.
The original.
The original.
Okay.
That place is amazing. She loves to dance, so I would take her to the Dance World class.
Yeah.
She'd probably enjoy that.
Shout out to Dance World again.
Again.
Yeah.
Right. And what would the last one? Are the Sea Bears playing or
They can be.
They can be.
You can choose any time.
anything? Because I mean, show you can see. She probably sees
Broadway,
Broadway
and
and
everything,
all those
right?
things, right? So, yeah, maybe I don't know. I mean, I really like going to the Sea Bears game, so
Yeah.
maybe a Sea Bears game.
She could really feel what the energy in Winnipeg
Yeah,
is like there.
Can you
right?
imagine Madonna courtside at a Sea Bears game with the security required?
Well, not only that,
Kidding.
Madonna
That
and
would be-
Nick courtside. Can you imagine the rumors?
Well, you'd probably be too old for Madonna. Anyway.
That could be true, actually.
Don't laugh too hard.
We still want to have her on the show one day, maybe.
Oh, she's got a good sense of humor.
She's
Yep.
awesome.
So, what? This is our last question that we like to leave every guest with.
Sorry for the interruption. Greg and Tim apologize at this time for the bad audio. Technical difficulties happen, and it is unfortunate. Please excuse the poor audio quality.
Give a little bit of perspective to other people that are, wanting to do something that the guest does. So you create clothing, you design a brand. What is one piece of advice that you would give that person that wants to create their own brand, create their own clothing, and do something like you're doing? What would that one piece of advice be?
I would say to be organized and to really think it out what you want to do, right? So, like I always say, like people have asked me and they say, like, okay, what starting a brand, like, what does that look like? Create a brand book and understand like what and why you're doing it. Like, what problem are you solving?
Okay.
Right? And kind of stay true to that, because things are going to present themselves at you. And if you aren't focused, it's like, chasing that car, and then all of a sudden a squirrel, and you're like, okay, now I'm going this way, but really you want to get to the car.
Yeah.
So it's like having that vision and staying true to it, but obviously adapting along the way.
And that's you brought up the why, and we've talked to some guests. I know Greg talks about it a lot, but knowing the why of why you're doing things, and I think that's a great answer. And you obviously know the why of what you're doing. What is your why? Why do you create?
Still the same reason. Like, I want to dress different. I want to create something that's good quality, that lasts, reasonable price points, and that's different, stands out.
You want to be far from ordinary.
Do you find you're just as excited to design as the first day you designed your first piece?
Totally. And just like, the different people that you get to work with it's amazing, right? Like, you get in some of these rooms with top designers and top artists and all these different people, like, consistently, and that's like exciting, right? So you're just feeding off of them and their energy and all of these, like, cool experiences.
Where can people find you? Where can they find all your stuff? What's the kind of like drop schedule?
We have a hat drop every month, so first week of November is the next one.
Okay.
ffoclothing.com. Yeah, and then our Instagram, FFO Clothing.
Yep.
But yeah.
Nothing on YouTube yet? You're not doing any kind of like behind the scenes of creation?
No.
Not yet?
No YouTube channels, nothing like that. So.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. Thanks for joining us today. We really appreciate this. Fun. It's a great conversation. I personally love like clothing creation, brand creation, and that kind of thing. So that's awesome. Like, your story is great, and I think that you represent Winnipeg like very, very well.
Thank you.
Appreciate you joining us.
Thanks for watching the Greg and Tim Show podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with all your friends. Sharing is caring.